And then now I know the difference between I'm pretty sure I'm saved and I know I'm saved. So that brings me back to my wild days. And in those wild days, I had 3 accidents. One was so-so, could have went either way. The other 2 were 99.9% should have been fatal. They were. I'll tell you about one of them. I fell off the scaffolding at work. The accident report said it was 12 and a half feet. And when I fell backwards, went over backwards. I fell on a metal milk crate right in the middle of my back. And I remember it being slow motion, but when I hit the ground, it was so soft. It was like when you're putting a sleeping child to bed, you want to be very careful you don't wake them up. So you let them know. That's how I felt. Well, I got up, and it was supper time. We were on overtime. But so we went to supper, and they shut the job down, of course, because you got to do an investigation. Everybody went home. I came back the next day, and they wanted me to go down to the dispensary at the little clinic on property and get checked out. So they took 11 x-rays of me, my head, my neck, chest, back, shoulders. And then the doctor looked over me. And the doctor came in and talked to me, and he says, "You should be dead." He said, "There's no broken bones, nothing's dislocated, everything was good." He says, "And you don't even have a bruise." He says, "Please tell me that it knocked the wind out of you." And I says, "It did not knock the wind out of me." And he says, "Somebody caught you," he said. It's the only explanation, somebody caught you. And I didn't, because I'm still living my rebellious life, and I don't think too much of it, because back then I was 9 foot tall and bulletproof, right? But now, because I was pretty much sure I was saved. So now that I think back on it, being pretty sure you're saved ain't the same thing as knowing you're saved. So then I started thinking, what if in them 2 accidents, or third, what if I died and I didn't live? Would I be standing in front of Jesus and hear him say, "I don't know you"? That's scary. That's scary. Because once you hear that, you're done. There's nobody else to go to. That reminds me of a story that I read about a guy by the name of George Wilson. He worked for the post office back in the 1880s, and he killed his partner. I don't know why, but he did. And so he tied himself up to make it look like it was a robbery gone bad. It didn't work. He got tried and convicted and sentenced to hang. Well, before they could hang him, the president gave him a pardon. And George said, "I don't want this pardon. I did the crime. I'm guilty. I want to hang." So now they don't know what to do. So they go back to court, and it goes all the way to the Supreme Court. And Chief Justice Marshall said that a pardon that's not accepted is not a pardon at all. It's null and void. He said, if he doesn't want the pardon, let him hang. And that's what Jesus offers us, a pardon. But if you don't take it, it ain't worth anything. You're going to hang. So don't be a George Wilson, and don't be me. If you hear that knocking, answer it right away. You might not get 3 chances like I got. And then it's all done. Because I don't want to see anybody stand in front of Jesus and have Jesus say, "I don't know you."